Welcome to the first episode of Drop an Album. Joining me today is comedian, great guy, funny man, Stratton Smith. How's it going?
It is going great. I fell in love with your dog. Your dog is perfect.
Yes, our dog's name is Dude Love, named after the wrestler, of course. Dude Love, Mick Foley, the three faces of Foley, I think it is, something like that. Man, there's Mick Foley. Wait. There's Mick Foley, right?
There's Mick Foley, Cactus Jack,
Yeah.
Dude Love, and Mankind.
That would be four. I guess Mick Foley and then the three faces, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so that's what. Okay, because I was like, there's got to be three faces.
You didn't know you had a WWE guy here, huh? Or that would have been WWF, yeah.
Yeah, WWE, yeah, or WWF, depending on
how old
era.
you are.
Yeah. And if you were, pre-lawsuit or post-lawsuit, right, from the World Wildlife Fund, which I always wondered that. I remember, like, when I was in middle school, there was, I liked wrestling, and, of course, the ladies did not in middle school, you know what I mean? And, like, one of them had, like, a WWF bag with a panda, and I was going to go try and make some time with her and be like, hey, you like wrestling, too? And then it's, like, the Wildlife Fund.
And then you didn't.
I did not.
I know you didn't. No, none of us would have done that.
Yeah. So, that embarrassment was saved, but there's plenty more to come. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about Rumours. That's your favorite album, right?
It is my favorite album. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough question, I think, with if you're like a music person, and you dive into it. If you ask somebody their favorite album, their brain kind of spins. Do you kind of relate with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So then I was like, well, which one would I want to talk about for a little bit of time? And then I was like, oh, Rumours is unbeatable and things to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I did some research, let's just say, on Rumours. We'll talk about some of these facts. At least I think they're facts. Some of it I got off of Wikipedia, which I think now, like, it has to be right?
They're always right. Wikipedia is the fruit of knowledge.
Now, I'll tell you this. So, you know how there's a holiday for everything now? Like, there's like a National Breadstick Day, all these kinds of things. Like, on December 30th is the birthday of two of the Monkees, right? Davy Jones and Mike Nesmith.
That was my sister's first crush.
Yeah. Which one?
Davy. She likes shorties.
Okay. Was your sister born in the 60s?
No, weird.
Oh, she just liked them for the reruns?
Well, no. So my parents, they would do a lot of like VHSs. So we watch a lot of Three Stooges, a lot of the Monkees, Beverly Hillbillies, and so we got all of their generation.
Yeah.
So my parents were born in the 50s.
Okay. Well, that's the only reason I was asking is because having the crush. Well, then did she find out that like Davy was an older man? You know what I mean?
Probably a little later on.
Okay.
It's like, oh, by the way, your first crush is 30 years old.
Yeah. Because that's all I was trying to say there. Because that's kind of how I found the Monkees was they used to have the reruns like on syndication. Like, and then they had it on MTV in the 80s.
Yeah,
like,
and I didn't find out till later that they were a fake band.
Well, no, I like to say predetermined.
Predetermined. Okay, I like that too.
The prefab. Yeah, I didn't know that.
You are
either.
A wrestling fan.
Yes, exactly. I didn't know it was like that either. When they released the book about the Monkees, when they had the MTV thing, they had like a big 20-year comeback in like 1986, and they had a book about them. And then I realized, I was like, wait a minute, what? Because when I saw them, I thought they were just like a band that had their own show. And I'm like, this is amazing. You know, this is what I want to do. I want to get into comedy and get into music. These are what these guys are doing. And then like you said.
And then I saw her face.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So Michael Nesmith and Davy Jones were both born on December 30th, right? So I thought, why shouldn't there be a holiday to celebrate this? It's right at the same time as holidays. There's Christmas, you have Hanukkah, you have New Year's. Why not December 30th when they were both born Monkevis? Right?
Monkevis. I love that.
So, like, I put that on Wikipedia, and then it got flagged, and it said, this is made up. But, I mean, isn't National Breadstick Day? Didn't someone have to start National Breadstick Day as well?
Man, I just want to know what you have to do to make something a national holiday.
Yeah.
Do you have to go and get signatures? Do you have to go, like, to a meeting? And do you have to go to a conference and, like, make a pitch?
Yeah, or, like, petitions. Do they still do petitions?
Well, they do like virtual petitions and everything.
Oh,
like
yeah.
But then if AI is really powerful, you could just get signatures for anything.
Yeah, that's true. But Monkevis, That should be a holiday, I think. You know what I mean? Two of the technically it would also be an international holiday since Davy was one of them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like from being from England. So yeah,
I think you should start a cult, and that should be the basis of it.
Is it the Monkeys holiday?
That is a great cult following.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll look into it. Yeah. I can't make any promises.
Just don't brand people.
The what now?
Just don't brand people.
As for what, that are Monkeys followers?
Yeah, like physically, don't brand them.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that would happen. I don't know how many. I wonder at what point if there are still Monkeys fans, because like you watch the episodes. Like, do you think that there are any young children nowadays that like the Monkeys? Like, do they still? Because they don't really like. I have the DVD set, but physical media is not really
correct. I mean, I think the advantage would be there is YouTube, so then you could watch the Monkeys and everything on YouTube. But in terms of kids getting into the Monkeys, I think it's going down.
Yeah, I think that ship has probably sailed, if you will. But yeah,
it lives through us.
Yes. So Rumours. Let's talk a little bit about Rumours. Now, Rumours is the 11th studio album by Fleetwood Mac. A lot of the themes were about personal relationships. A lot of the band was breaking up with each other or others, and alleged drug use. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I don't think any of us could say, but there was alleged drug use on this. Now, it was released on February 4th, 1977, which is going to be my next question. You know, you kind of answered how you got into the Monkees. How did you get into Fleetwood Mac with it being an album that came out in 1977?
Yeah, so I want to learn this about you, but then, so I started with music with classic rock. So then I grew up with older parents. My parents had me in their 40s. So then, like, my dad graduated in, like, 1969. Mom graduated in the 70s. So probably my mom was probably the first one to introduce him to me.
Okay.
But then growing up on 94.7, 104.5, you hear all the Fleetwood Mac songs. But it's not until you get older and really dive into it and learn everything that's going on with the band that you're like, oh, this is a very personal album.
Yeah.
They're not just bangers that you hear in the grocery store.
Yeah. This album sold 40 million copies. 1978, it was the Grammy Album of the Year. It's in the Grammy Hall of Fame. I didn't even know there was a Grammy Hall of Fame. Did you know this?
That is news to me.
Yeah. And then number 7 on the Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. What is your personal opinion on these lists? I know a lot of people get hot about it. I think Taylor Swift was like number 12 on like some list of greatest guitarists.
That's hilarious.
There were so many people that just got, but like, what do you think about lists of things like that?
Well, I think they are created to make people argue about them. So then it's like, hey, we're going to do this list. Everyone's like, all right, well, I want to know how my taste like fares like with everyone else's. And then you see something that's like ahead of something you love. And then immediately you got to comment or write in and say like, this is BS. Not a chance that's better than that. Prince is the best guitar player of all time, not Taylor Swift. And so I think lists were created to make people fight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I love it.
Yeah. It's just somebody's opinion, you know? Like, I don't know if this is a particular... I would imagine these were the writers of Rolling Stones. That I did not fact check with everything else. But yeah, so what is it about Rumours that really got you hooked when you heard it? Like, just the songs, the melodies, tell me more about it.
Yeah, I think it's the songs and the melodies because rather than like listening to Rumours all at once the first time, I got to hear, like, you get to hear Go Your Own Way, you get to hear Dreams, you get to hear The Chain. And so I hear all of these like independently. All of them are banger songs. But then when you listen to it all together, you're just like, then you see it's like, oh wait, this song's a banger. Oh, this song's also a banger. And then you're like, this whole album, it's got bangers, and then it's got like a couple like really sweet songs.
Yeah.
But for me, it was probably learning that there was a divorce and a breakup going on between band members. So I don't know. I am a person, I love breakup songs. I love love songs because I think they're very real, and I think we all can relate to them. We've all been through a breakup. We've all been in love. If you haven't, you will. But yeah, you've got one side of, you've got John and Christine, 17 who are going through a divorce. And then you've got Lindsay and Stevie who are breaking up. And these people are writing breakup songs and performing breakup songs with the people that they're divorcing and breaking up with. That is insane.
Yeah. So I'm going to be completely honest. I knew of Fleetwood Mac, but I didn't really hear Rumours until like later in life, you know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. When I really started to know if Fleetwood Mac was in 1997, that was the year I started dating my wife, and she was a big Fleetwood Mac fan.
So that reunion is one of my favorite Fleetwood Mac kind of histories, because there's a song on there called Silver Springs, which is Stevie Nicks' like real hard breakup song, and I will argue that it is one of the best breakup songs of all time. She gets to perform it maybe for the first time, or at least with a video, and her and Lindsay are just locking eyes during it, and it is uncomfortable and no one's backing down, and it's awesome.
Yeah, Silver Springs was actually intended to be on Rumours. Yeah,
yes.
But it ended up being the B-side for Go Your Own Way, which we'll talk about. And
which is wild.
Yeah. Stevie Nicks wrote Silver Springs when she saw the freeway sign in Maryland. And she thought, wow, that sounds like a great place to live. And yeah, it was the end of the relationship with Lindsay. Oh my God, I almost said Lindsey Graham. It was the
Lindsey Graham.
It was the end.
What a whirlwind. That'd be fun.
Yeah. It's the end of the relationship with Lindsey Buckingham, as you mentioned. So yeah, that's interesting to hear about how they were locking eyes. Now, I'll tell you this. I was going to try and go to when they had the reunion tour, and I think the tickets were something crazy in Los Angeles, like $100, which like now you can't even sit on the lawn for $100.
Not a chance.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I think Stevie was coming through Noblesville probably like 2 or 3 years ago, and they're like, lawn tickets are $80. But then I'm also a broke comedian, so I'm like, $80 is a lot. But then now it's like $80 is about right.
Yeah,
so that's actually a pretty good discount.
Now, my favorite band is Green Day. I saw Green Day.
Good man.
I sound like kind of like in my day with this, but I saw Green Day for $14, including the convenience charge. There used to be that an all ages club, and I saw so many bands there. I saw Hole, which we're going to talk about on one of these songs. I saw Green Day for $15. It's really hard to justify. And I saw Nirvana for, I think, probably like 30. You know, so like,
right, yes.
It's so hard for me to justify going to see, I don't know,
well,
like,
you look at Harry Styles or like Taylor Swift tickets are astronomical.
Yeah.
But I hear they put on a really good show. So
yeah,
I'm not trying to poke any Swifties.
Yeah. I think this is all due to probably streaming. It's probably due to a lot of things we could talk about.
I was going to say corporate greed.
Yeah. That's just out of control. Capitalism. But yeah. So yeah, where were we at? So Silver Springs, would you say then, what do you think? Should that have been on the album, or are you good with it being off the album?
I think it should have been on the album because I think they gave her a lot of, it was cut for time and everything. And also she might have been under the influence of drugs, and she apparently got pretty screaming mad when she was told it was cut for time. But I think it happened perfectly. Silver Springs is known by all Fleetwood Mac fans, whether it was on the B-side or not. I do think it was wild that Go Your Own Way was Lindsay's breaking up song, and then Silver Springs got put on B-side to that. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Of course she's going to be fueled with rage.
Yeah. So let's talk about Gold Dust Woman. Now, Gold Dust is actually the persona of Dustin Rhodes.
Okay, there we go. We're back to it.
So you think that was inspired at all by this song?
Man, well, if you look at Goldust as a wrestler, you're like, well, he's kind of acting like that song a whole lot. He's kind of mystical. His face is painted, and he's kind of flamboyant and everything. But I don't know. I would love to believe in a world where Goldust listened to Rumours and was like, that's what I'm doing.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you again. This kind of doesn't make me seem like I'm very well versed on Fleetwood Mac. Now I believe I am, but back in the day, I was first introduced to Gold Dust Woman by Hole's cover. Did you know that Hole?
No, I didn't.
Courtney Love's band, Hole, I guess you know what to say. Hole did Gold Dust Woman, and not only did they do Gold Dust Woman, they did it for the soundtrack of The Crow 2.
No way. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So I think I was watching maybe 120 minutes, something like that. And they're like, oh, Holes, we're going to do the world premiere of the whole video for Fleetwood Mac's Goldust Woman. And they're like saying it like I would know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Probably everybody else that was listening be like, wow. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, you know? So like
all the dudes were like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All the women were like, yeah.
My introduction of Goldust Woman was Hole's version for the Crow movie soundtrack. Okay. Just to let you know. So yeah, the Fleetwood Mac version was recorded at 4 a.m. I guess it was originally a folk song. And they just really attempted to record it so many times that I guess finally at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It got through, so yeah.
I did read in Rumours that they had kind of a crazy schedule in terms of they would have like a big dinner around like 7 or 8 p.m. And then party, and then their average like recording time was like 1 a.m. So, but then the fact that it got to 4 a.m., that kind of explains the song and how she sounds kind of tired. She sounds kind of tired in it, but it works for like the rhythm and everything like that. And I feel like I hear that song and I feel like you fall in love with Stevie Nicks a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, okay, she might be a stripper in this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I love this.
What's your favorite song on the album?
Oh, man. I knew you were going
to say.
I knew you were going to ask this, and it depends on the day. So if I'm not picking Silver Springs, I will pick the one song on the album that I think holds some light, which is You Make Lovin' Fun.
So yeah, You Make Lovin' Fun. Christine McVie wrote that about her affair with the lighting director. And then I guess when her ex-husband had questions, she said it was about her dog.
That's perfect. Yeah. I would have said the exact same thing if I was her. Now, that is kind of a bouncy song, if I'm not mistaken, right? A little Make loving fun. So Rumours kind of hits the gamut with kind of the slow, kind of depressing songs, but also kind of the upbeat songs, right? Yeah, they've got a lot of upbeat songs, and then you have like, we'll get into the other songs and everything. But what I love about this is like the one like, oh, this is a love song, but then these people are breaking up. Where does this song come from? Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, have you seen The Wedding Singer? Yes. He does that song, Somebody Kill Me, Please. And then he says before, he's like, hey, I wrote the first half of this as a love song before I got left at the wedding altar, and I wrote the second half of the song afterwards. Yeah. So it kind of, this felt like, oh, this was the first song written before but it all was bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, but then it's a very sweet song. Yeah. Is this the kind, before you go and perform, is this the kind of album, do you have like a hype up song or like something that you listen to before you perform, or not so much? Yeah, I do have some hype songs. It's a lot of like going through my liked songs on my Spotify, and this is perfect for us because I will listen to WWE walkout songs. Okay, yeah. And so lately it's been Seth Rollins' Burn It Down. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, so it's just a little like real hard. I'm a classic John Cena fan, so then I'll listen to the Master of Thugonomics, like the rapping John Cena, which should be studied in psychology. Well, I listen to a lot of WWE theme songs if I'm doing like my hype stuff. Yeah, I actually had one year I had John Cena's theme as like my number one Spotify song, and then I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to share this. Now, you know how like everybody shares their Spotify Wrapped, right? I had this exact thing happen this year because I did a show at a venue called Black Circle, and it was a Spotify Wrap show. Okay. So basically you have like these 5 or 6 comedians. They come with their top 10 songs. Okay. And you were anonymously roasting somebody's top 10 songs, but you don't know who you're roasting. And then at the end, you reveal who it is. I had like 2 WWE theme songs in there. I was like, oh, they're going to think I'm a virgin. All right, that's cool. I don't love Jey Uso that much, but I love to yeet. Yeah. So what, do you remember the 2 WWE songs that you had? It was Main Event Jey Uso. And so because I had another show where that was gonna be my walkout, and I wanted to yeet with the crowd. Yeah. And funny enough, I practiced yeeting for a week, and by the time I got to the show, my arms hurt so much that I didn't end up doing it. Now, I'll tell you this about Jey Uso. Are you still a watcher, or is it kind of... Yes, sir. Yeah. All right. Mostly WWE, a little bit AEW, but mostly WWE. Now, here's the deal. Now, we all know it's entertainment, right?
However, I think this was like a couple years ago. The War Games, right?
Yeah.
The War Games, the biggest. So, like, I remember the War Games when I was a kid from like NWA, WCW. Like, one of the most brutal things. These guys are locked in a cage. Somebody has to submit. Now, Jey Uso comes in, and in the middle of the match, they play his song, and everybody starts yeeting. That kind of takes you out of that. You're in the most brutal match, no?
Most brutal match, but it's like, sweet, we're going to break the fourth wall and just get everybody back into it.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of what Jey Uso does, is find, is he breaks the fourth wall a lot.
So many people were mad that he won the Royal Rumble. My son and I were actually at that Royal Rumble, the one that was here last time.
Yeah, in Indy, yes.
People, I don't know why, I think people were mad because he beat John Cena, but then John Cena actually won the other thing to be in the main event. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so, like, it kind of didn't make sense why they hated Jey Uso. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think everyone was getting tired of Jey Uso because he had a heavyweight run that I think nobody was really too big of a fan of. But, yeah, I think people are getting tired of yeeting. But then you see, like, they just did a European tour. The yeet is still here.
Yeah.
People are still doing it. I'm not a crazy big Jey Uso fan. I don't know. When I look at like the Bloodline as an alliance, they're fine. But I'm getting a little tired of Roman Reigns. Don't tell anybody.
So then we have, let's talk about, speaking of the WWE, and the reason I say this is Go Your Own Way, right?
Yes.
Now, I am sure I heard the song before. Now, Lindsey Buckingham, as you mentioned, wrote that about Stevie Nicks. It got on the album, was the A-side to her. I guess you could say diss track to him, right?
It was a double diss track.
Yeah. So how I kind of was introduced to it was Bill Clinton used it as his, I think, kind of theme song. And you can go around. No, that isn't going. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. I'm looking at the song above it. He did not use Go. All right. Let me.
This is perfect.
Well, I know a lot about. Not only have I done great research, I know so much about your favorite album.
You did it.
Yeah, Bill Clinton just told everyone to fuck off. And, just like, yeah, hey, fuck you if you're not going to vote for me. I don't know. So, yeah. What were we talking about? Okay, let me go back. All right.
It's Monica's favorite.
So, speaking of the WWE, Don't Stop.
Yeah.
Right? This song, Christine McVie wrote it about her ex-husband, and he didn't know until someone told him, apparently.
Like after it came out?
Her husband, like, I'm wondering about, like, he didn't know that she wrote that song about him. You Make Loving Fun. He realized
That's
he
about
thought
the
it was
dog.
about the dog. Yeah, like, what's going on with this guy? Have you met John McVie by any chance?
I have not, unfortunately.
Oh, also something very crazy, kind of staying on this concept. Fleetwood Mac apparently didn't even break up until 1995 because apparently it was John McVie and Mick Fleetwood, and just like, so like now when I see like kind of the 90s bands where it's like, you know, going to Wikipedia again, you see like 30 different like past members, and you see like these 30 different people, but you know, like they're playing at the fair or something like that. You know, that's kind of what it seemed like Fleetwood Mac became in like 1995.
Yeah,
right
well, the way I kind of look at that is like they can be a band until the 90s, but as soon as Lindsey and Stevie left, Fleetwood Mac was over with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's certain bands that, like, if those members are gone, like, you can't go. Well, like, I'm just going to say it. Stone Temple Pilots, Scott Weiland, you know, was, in my opinion, the major part of Stone Temple Pilots, right? And they're kind of performing. Then they had Chester Bennington, I think, from Linkin Park, joined. And then he left. I don't even think he was there for that long, if I'm not mistaken. But then now they have somebody else. Now, I'm just saying, like, that's fine, but that's not really Stone Temple Pilots, you know?
Correct. And then same thing with Linkin Park. They are touring right now with a new singer, and you're just like, well, that's not Chester.
Yeah.
You know?
So there are kind of certain, I think, band members, like you mentioned, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, that, like, if they're gone, that's not the band, you know?
Which is so funny because it's Mac Fleetwood on drums, and you're like, oh, it's named after him. But then Stevie and Lindsay made this band.
Yeah. Yeah, so even though they have the name, and here's the other thing too. Now, I'm not 100% certain on this. Speaking of 90s band, the band Live, I think I heard this from a friend. I don't know how, I didn't know we'd be talking about Live, so I didn't do research on this, but from what he told me is that the core members of Live, right, kicked out the singer, okay? Then the singer, I guess, had the rights to the name, and then he fired everybody, and then he made Live with just him and everybody else. And from what I'm hearing now, they maybe got the rights back, and now they're Live. So it's like Live just keeps going back and forth. So that kind of goes with what you're saying about like having the name, you know?
Yeah, I will say. And then it's kind of like the name is what all the money and everything like gets you. It's and then you have to rebrand, and then you have to start everything over. And then now it's probably a little easier with like streaming and social media. Be like, tell people, hey, this is what we're doing. But then, you know, back in like 70s, 80s, 90s, it's like you got to hear that through the mill kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, even like I think like going back to the Stone Temple Pilots, the money is in the name Stone Temple Pilots. Like if they just started another band, which I think they actually did in the 90s when like I think Scott Weiland went, and I think their band was called Talk Show. Yeah, they started a band. So if they did something like that and like changed the name, but they still did the Stone Temple Pilots, probably wouldn't be as financially
correct
solvent you know what I mean, for them. So, but yeah. So Don't Stop, how I was introduced to it, I mean, I probably heard it before, was with Bill Clinton using Don't Stop as his theme in the 1992 election. And apparently he's used it ever since. Like that's kind of his intro. And I remember the 2000 Democratic National Convention. The reason I bring that up with the WWE, although that was like, I think 20 minutes ago we were talking about that, was that they did like kind of, he was walking down the hall, and I think one of the news things later did like a side cut of like The Rock coming out and like Bill Clinton. So he was kind of doing like a WWE entrance as he was coming.
Which is hilarious to think of Bill Clinton with a saxophone coming out as a wrestler. That's a hilarious image.
Exactly, yeah. So Bill Clinton has been using Don't Stop, and that's kind of how I got introduced to that. And apparently from what I read, like his staff did not want him to use Don't Stop.
Yeah.
They want him to use like, I think it was a Garth Brooks song. So yeah, so Don't Stop, used by the Clinton Gore campaign. Yes.
What an election, huh?
Yeah.
I want to see a breakdown of which songs were by which running mates. And so it's kind of like instead of the two political people going at it, it's song versus song.
Yeah.
So I want to know what Al Gore came out to.
Yeah. Did Al Gore have a song in 2000? I wonder if he had a song in 2000. Like the Gore-Lieberman campaign. I'm sure they had something. I don't know.
I don't know, because we know our current president is a YMCA guy. Well, I heard that at Indians games growing up, and then they have the people you can get on the dugout and everything like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think that politicians should have theme songs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's move on to Songbird. Now, Songbird, speaking of Christine McVie, she stayed up all night so she wouldn't forget the chord structure and the melody for Songbird.
All right, with her dog.
With her dog and the lighting director. With the dog and the lighting director. And then John McVie came in and just had no idea.
And asked zero questions.
Yeah, that was okay with it. Now, let's move on to The Chain. Now, here's the thing. I could be completely wrong, but when I listened to The Chain, you know, I listened to this album a couple times to prepare for this, and it sounds like Lindsey Buckingham or somebody says fuck right before. Did you ever notice this?
No, I would say, was this like right before it starts?
Yeah, like it kind of, you hear a little something, then you hear someone say fuck, and then it starts. Now, I don't know if this is true. I Googled it, and like a couple Reddit threads were talking about it, so I don't know. Obviously, it's kind of like a couple things, like, you know, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear where she says, Later we'll have some pumpkin pie. Sometimes, like, if you really listen, it sounds like she says, later we'll have some fucking pie.
Oh, no, but I'm using that forever now.
Yeah, listen to it and see. But there was also a Saturday Night Live sketch back when they released CDs. And there was, I don't know if it was a Dennis Miller, it was Weekend Update, but it was something like, the Beatles released their CDs and Charlie Manson said, oh, now I can really hear the lyrics. So I don't know. The Chain, it sounds like he says fucking it. I don't know if that's true. Listen to it sometime and then let me know if you think. Next time you listen to it, listen to it loud enough that you can hear that. But that was the only song credited to all the members because it was spliced together.
Well, yeah, and it sounds like it's like 3 different songs almost.
Yeah.
And then you get the bass that comes in, and then you get the guitar that really gets high energy. I don't know, because it feels like that's a pump up song by the end. It doesn't start that way. But yeah, if you don't love me now, you'll never love me again.
Yeah.
That one hits home. Yeah. That's right in the heart, because I think a lot of people with breakups can identify with that, whether you're going through like a really tough time and it's just like, well, if you don't love me now, we're not gonna make it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has 1.5 billion streams, The Chain.
Yeah.
So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Let's start counting. 1, 2. Yeah. We're not gonna get there.
All right. So secondhand news. The opening of, Lindsey Buckingham wrote that apparently about his Rebound Women to Stevie Nicks.
I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right. So, you're giving me a new fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the opener for the album?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Now, kind of what I think about when I think about this is Tragic Kingdom by No Doubt, right? Gwen Stefani.
Love No Doubt.
Is dating Tony Kanal, for I don't know how many years. And then she ends up writing I don't know if it was the whole album, but many of the songs about it. And he's got to be there the whole time playing the songs, night after night. That's kind of what it reminds me of. I know probably people would be like, are you insane? Like this, I obviously know this came first, but I mean, to me, No Doubt came first. You know what I mean?
Yes, so correct.
That makes me think of this because, these band members are playing all of these songs about them night after night, hearing these things, it's got to be crazy.
No, it's absolutely insane. And then, yes, I think it's like, Fleetwood Mac did it first. But then when you're writing like love songs and everything like that, there's band members and people that are like in the mix all the time. And then I think there's even a lot of like references like, oh, we're all Fleetwood Mac, were they all swingers, were they swapping and everything like that. There's been no evidence, I think, suggesting that.
Yeah, all of these things that we're saying are just alleged, all right?
But but in rock and roll, there's a lot of drugs going around, whether it's in the 90s or all the rock music in the 80s, 70s, and 60s. Things are happening. There's fluids being exchanged, and then there's great music being performed.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we have Dreams. Now, Dreams sold 1 million copies.
Dreams is so good.
Only U.S. #1 single, if I'm not mistaken.
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised.
And there was a 2020 resurgence. Did you know about this? Because I didn't know about this until...
Did it get put on a Hyundai commercial?
Well, sort of. It was how crazy is it now to hear songs like from your youth on commercials? So like, I'm hearing Blink-182 on like, I don't know, a BMW commercial or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like crazy. And like, I don't fault them for cashing in, you know what I mean? But it is just weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Why am I hearing Rage Against the Machine on a granola commercial?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But had a resurgence in 2020. Apparently, a TikToker didn't write down his name, but I'm sure.
Was he the guy that was drinking a cranberry?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I have. He rode his skateboard, and it definitely said he drank ocean cran raspberry juice as he, I guess, was lip syncing. So it had a big resurgence.
That's
everybody.
Insane.
How insane is it that like TikTok can make a song? What would that have been like 2020? I'm trying to do some basic math here. Is that 43 years song like it could just resurge that. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That's just like, and TikTok has got to be, what is like TikTok? Does it have a time limit? Do you know?
No, I will probably like 2 minutes or something like
so
that.
like
Yeah.
just like a snippet of guys doing this and that piques people's interest. You know, how crazy is that now?
Yeah, and then it's like, why does one thing blow up and another thing doesn't? But then a lot of times I think I don't know, because I was talking about this at work, that I was going to be here. I was going to talk about Rumours, and my best friend Daniel I work with, he doesn't know anything about Fleetwood Mac or anything. And then I was playing some songs for him, and he was like, "Oh, I remember that song. There was some dude riding a skateboard."
Oh,
and
wow.
And then he showed me videos like, "Oh yeah, I remember when that was a thing." So then, and now why we're talking about this now is nuts that the internet has that much power.
Yeah, my son is a big Metallica fan, and he got
Good man.
through Metallica from Fortnite, from playing Fortnite, because Metallica songs, like I think their songs are in Fortnite. I'm trying to think if their songs were playing in Fortnite. They have something I think called the Fortnite Festival, right? And they have like a specific artist. So they've had different artists, and like Metallica came on. It's just crazy to think that it's even crazier that these fan bases continue on, because I'm trying to think like when I was, like that's 30 years. Like when I was a kid, like I did not want to hear music 30 years before my time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Monkees were fine. They were like 20 years before. And like, but like they were kind of like poppy and all this stuff. But like, you're going back to the 50s music and,
Well, I grew up kind of the opposite way, where I was like, I did listen to like the top 40s and rap and everything like that. But then I was always really into the classic rocks and like even a little bit of the 50s and 60s. And then because I graduated high school in 2013, my sister, she was a pure 90s kid. She got me really into ska. Do you know how lonely it is being the only kid at your high school in 2013 that listens to ska? So it would have been better if I would listen to a little bit more Drake and Lil Wayne, but then I was like, well, do you guys know Real Big Fish and Less Than Jake? They're like, no.
Oh,
no, we don't.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'll be quiet forever. I will say one thing.
Yes, go ahead.
One about Dreams, a fun fact that I found out about it. Stevie Nicks wrote Dreams in Sly Stone's bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then Sly Stone apparently had a recording studio right next door, and it had this like big circular velvet bed, and that's where she wrote Dreams in. There is no evidence saying that they did anything in the bed or that he was there, but I'd like to think they did.
Yeah. And then that made her, so maybe he was the inspiration.
Yeah, and also apparently it was written in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Which is wild.
Yeah. So as we're talking about Rumours, I mentioned from the top that Stratton is a stand-up comedian. Can you tell everybody a little bit about your social media, how they can find you, any upcoming shows, anything that you're doing?
Yeah, I would say you can find me on social media. Instagram, it's at Weird Strat, or you can find me on Facebook at Stratton Smith. There is only 3 Stratton Smiths. There's 5 Strattons, and I know this because I messaged all the Strattons one night when I was really drunk in one group chat. You can find them all. But then, so it's really easy. I do have a show coming up July 2nd. I will be at Helium Comedy Club in the semifinals for the Midwest Funniest Person contest. Wow. Yeah, so I've got
great.
Yeah, I've got that, and I've got a show in Monticello coming up later on in the month. But if you can go to my website, strattoncomedy.com, or find me on social medias. I'm one of the few Strattons.
All right. What was that group chat like? Did anybody write back?
Yes, it was awesome. Everybody except for a couple. But what I loved is all the Strattons were different. So then I'm like the comedian Stratton. We had a chiropractor Stratton who was a buff man that had a better mustache than me.
Okay.
I was pretty upset with that. We got a gay Stratton. I'm going to tell you, I don't like to play favorites, but he's my favorite.
Okay.
We've got a musician Stratton, Stratton James. He's a good guitar player. And then we've got a black Stratton.
Okay.
Yeah. And
How many Strattons is that?
That's 5. Yeah.
So 5 Stratton Smiths, right? Does that include you?
Well, no. So these are just first name Strattons.
Oh, okay.
Because Stratton is just it's usually a last name. So Stratton's, I'm a person with 2 last names. But then there are 5 first name Strattons. And I searched everywhere.
So wait a minute. So that's even more unique, that there's only 5 other people with the first name of Stratton,
At
right?
least on social media.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, it could be, but yeah. Wow. Do you wanna talk about how you got that name?
Yeah, well, it's not a super interesting story, because my parents are, like, a little older, so, they were camping, I think, around, like, Key West, Florida,
Mhm.
sometime in, like, the early '80s, mid-'80s, and they were walking around the campground, and they just heard somebody on the distance say, "Hey, Stratton,"
Uh-huh.
and they were calling for their kid, and it was, like, this, like, 11 or 12-year-old kid, and they went up to the kid, they're like, "Hey, you like your name?" And he was like, "Yeah, weird hippies coming up to me and asking me about my name." They're like, "Sweet, we're gonna name our kid that in, like, 15 years."
What era was this? Because it seems like now if you wwent up to a kid and asked your name, you know what I mean? There might be
Oh,
some.
yeah. "What's your
Yeah, yeah.
name?" But, no, yeah, this would've been, like,
So
early '80s.
okay, so yeah, so stress. Because I know too there's also, like, I've known of people before where it is like a family name, like, for instance, maybe somebody's, like, maternal grandmother, and they might use the last name as the first
Yeah.
name, like, and that'll continue on and things like that, so I didn't know if that was but
I don't think my parents liked their family enough. So
really?
they're like, "We're gonna do this ourselves."
Okay.
Yeah, because my, sister's name is Jordan, and then so she was born in the late '80s,
Uh-huh.
which, Jordan now is a very common name for, a girl.
Yeah.
But, back then it was not. So
Oh,
she
really?
had she had a very unique, like, she's like, "Oh, my name's Jordan."
Yeah.
And then, but they always had the name Stratton around. So then they tried for a son for a while, then they
Uh-huh.
gave up. And funny enough, my parents went on a cruise, and my mom gave my dad an ultimatum saying, like, "Hey, you have to get a vasectomy."
Mhm.
My mom had been trying to get my dad to get a vasectomy for years, and he said, "All right, once we get off this cruise, I will schedule a vasectomy. I promise." I get conceived on the cruise.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
So procrastination is amazing. I love it. And so now a lot of people I do comedy, and so now a lot of people are like, do you wanna do, like, cruise lines or
Uh-huh.
anything?" I'm like, "No, because 'cause I'm afraid I'll die."
Yeah.
It ends where it began.
Yeah. So, did you like having the name Stratton? Because I feel like, with my name, there'd be, like, 1 or 2 other kids in my class with the name, so they would say my name, and then, like, we'd be like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like, everybody turn around, but, like, I feel and it might just be one of those things where it's like, you kinda want what you don't have, like, I feel like if I woulda had, like, a name that no one else had, you know what I mean, that would be great, but how did you like having a name? Because were there any other there's 5 strands on social media, were there any other strands in your class when it just
Absolutely not.
okay.
No, because, then but it's so uncommon that people will be like, "Oh, I have never heard that name before," even as a first or a last name. So I do a lot of repeats. So it's like, "Hey, I'm Stratton." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Stanton, and then a lot of I don't know, because I did customer service for several years,
Uh-huh.
and doing it on the phone, like, "Thank you for calling Enterprise. This is Stratton."
Uh-huh.
Hey, how's it going, Scott?"
Yeah.
Uh and or they're just like, "Okay." But personally, with the last name Smith, I do like having a unique, first name.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't know, but then you could tell my parents were hippies, you
Okay.
know?
Like we've talked about rumors of this, and we're going to talk probably a little more because I think there's a couple more songs.
Yeah.
But what was it like when you were a kid? Was there something you saw that just inspired you? Tell me a little bit about that, about your journey into comedy.
Yeah, because well, one like with comedy is the art form. My dad grew up a big stand-up fan, so when people were getting records and listening to music, he was listening to Richard Pryor and George Carlin, Steve Martin, and everything like that. But the big basis around it was I grew up in a household of laughter, so we come from a big like laughing family. Both my parents are a lot of fun. Both my parents are firefighters,
Hmm.
and so firefighters are really big on storytelling. So it's a lot of stories, and it's not taking life so seriously. I don't know too many firefighters that are really serious people.
Hmm.
So for me, it was a lot of like growing up in a laughing household,
Hmm.
but then also being the youngest child, kind of youngest syndrome. Whereas I'm not the smartest, I'm not the strongest. What thing am I gonna gravitate towards? And making people laugh is something that since I was a kid that I would throw myself into bushes and on doors and act like I was passed out,
Uh-huh.
and then do like the one eye open kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
So I've been trying. My mom always makes a joke saying like, "You've been trying to make people laugh forever. You didn't get good at it for a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but then it comes from a lot of laughing, like as a kid, and then just trying to be funny from a very early age.
Did you have a specific person or group that was like somebody that really inspired you, or did it just kind of vary, or how?
Not necessarily a group. I know in high school I probably watched Daniel Tosh's Happy Thoughts maybe 100 times.
Mhm.
So Daniel Tosh was like he was me and my best friend Tristan. We watched that in his house triple digit times.
Uh-huh.
But then I don't know, I'm a big John Mulaney fan. John Mulaney. But then my biggest my big three are Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler.
Okay.
So those are my holy trinity of comedy. And so it's like, yeah, it's a little bit their stand up, but then a lot of their comedy acting, and then dude, just how they can just take over a room too.
Yeah, that's a good three of like not so much similar, but kind of similar, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yeah.
Like they're not the same, but they have that style, like you said, that they just take things over. You know what I mean? They could take over a room, they could take over like a movie. So like just like big personalities.
Yeah, big personalities, and I don't know. And I think a big thing I always tell comics, I think that they want to make themselves smaller sometimes. Where I'm like, no, you are worth taking up the space. Take over your space. That's one thing that I think we're, at least I was taught pretty early on, is when you go on stage, like take over the room if you can. Maybe not if you're like opening for a headliner and he says don't take over the room. Then you gotta kind of you just gotta kind of stay in your lane. But then no, I think we're all deserving of a space to take over and do what we do. And I look at like Robin Williams as like, he's magnetic, man. Like, and he's got a genius mind, and I don't think I have a genius mind or anything like that. But I look at Robin Williams stand up, and you're just like, this guy was next level. And then you see his movies, and you're like, this guy's perfect.
So tell me a little bit about what made you choose stand up.
That's a good question. So, one, I was a huge fan of it throughout probably from middle school and high school on, but then in college, I got involved with this guy that did improv. So his name's Derek Self. I always call him like kind of like my path into comedy. We were playing pickup basketball like a summer between freshman and sophomore year, and we were just talking about like whose line is it anyway and Wild and Out. And he had taken a couple improv classes, but he's like, hey, I'm thinking about starting up an improv troupe here at Manchester, and would you be interested in that? I was like, yeah, I've seen every episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like that would be cool. So then I got started in improv, and I was like, oh, I got the laughing bug. And so we co-founded like it was called Academic Probation. And so I did that throughout sophomore, junior, and senior year. Then I moved to Michigan for a girl, and I didn't touch comedy or anything like that. Didn't work out there, came back, and I kind of stumbled into stand-up during COVID. So they were doing a improv class that was free, and so I was like, yeah, I can do this. I'll get back into improv. And there was a lady that was a stand-up comedian that wanted to kind of learn more about improv because she was doing something called the Challenge Mic. So this was called the Indie Challenge Mic. It got started in COVID. So basically, you have a bucket full of suggestions, 1 word, 2 words, you pull it out, and then you riff on it for as long as you can. That is how I got started into stand-up. So then you do that, and it was like improvised, but then you're riffing. But they did a thing where if you take your receipt and sign the back of it, at the end of the night, they will draw it, and then the next week you come out, you get to do a stand-up set of your own jokes.
Okay.
Probably after like a couple months of going to the challenge mic, I finally got one of them, and so I had to write 10 minutes of my own jokes.
Wow.
And that's how I got started in a stand-up.
How long did it take you? Tell me a little bit about that first experience. How long did it take you to write? Because like 10 minutes,
that's
so long.
I did not know how long 10 minutes was until you're up there. You're like, oh, 10 minutes, it's not that much. And then you do 3 minutes of jokes. You're like, well, that's kind of what I was excited for. Where's the bucket? Where's the bucket? Can we go back to the bucket? But yeah, and then like I remember my first, I don't know, I don't remember a lot of my first jokes, but I remember I've still got the set list, and I just have on there ex-girlfriend / cum rag.
Uh-huh.
Don't know what the joke was about, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then I think I joked about like Top Gun and everything. But then once I got out of that, then you meet other comics that are like actually doing stand-up, and then you find out where the open mics are in the city, and then you just start going to open mics, and you do 5 minutes at a time or 3 minutes at a time, and then from there you go to 5 minutes, and then you go to 7 minutes, then you go to 10 minutes, and then it's all. And then I think I'm about to hit 6 years in the fall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, tell me a little bit about what are some experiences that you've had? Are there any kind of interesting stories you like to tell?
It's probably more like what kind of venues you end up going to. Because
Okay.
a lot of times most people see comedy in a comedy club, or you'll see it in a stadium or a theater. I've done a karate dojo. I've done a swingers club. Outside shows where there should not be any outside shows. So then, like, I think my biggest show I've done in front of like 250 people, and my small show I've done in front of one person at a karate dojo. But then, yeah, in terms of like my favorite places to perform, I really like Grand Rapids. I would say I did a run of Grand Rapids shows that I really like. I can't get Bloomington to like me.
Bloomington, Indiana?
Yeah, I'm trying to get, every time I've done Bloomington, it just goes okay.
Did you do the cheap pop? Like, did you do any of the wrestling cheap pops? Like, hey, how about those Hoosiers?
Yeah, you can do that, but then you have the people that are like, we actually don't like the Hoosiers because we're 20. Screw the Hoosiers. And when I go to Lafayette, I do the Boilermaker jokes and everything like that. But then, yeah, you do kind of like want to play your audience and everything. But then sometimes you might only have, I don't know, 7-10 minutes. And you're like, well, I can't do that. I got to do my jokes.
Yeah.
Do I play to the audience or do I do my jokes?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I won't call myself a crowd work comic, but I enjoy doing crowd work. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you meet some funny people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Tell me a story about something from the crowd works.
Well, one I did, I do a speech therapy joke because I grew up in speech therapy. And so, I always like, asking people who went through speech therapy, like one, what the letters they struggle with. But two, I always like finding out what job they have now to see if they need to talk for it. And, I did it, probably like a year ago, and I was like, okay, and what do you do now? And she was like, I'm a speech therapist. I was like, that is gold.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is gold. I really hope I'm recording this right now. But I did a show in Monticello last month, and I was talking to this one couple. I'm like, oh, where'd you guys meet? They're like, in prison. I was a prison guard, and they were in prison.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, did you guys like hook up while you were in prison? And they were like, yes. I was like, that is so illegal, and you're telling me it? Thank you. But then you don't know these things about people unless you ask. And I'm just kind of naturally a curious person.
Yeah.
And in stand-up, you're kind of told, like, don't ask questions. I like asking questions.
Yeah. I know in improv, because I did improv before too, and that's like, you're not supposed to ask. It's like a yes and. You know what I mean? Like, yes, because if you ask questions, that kind of derails everything. Or if you're like, hey, we're doing, because, you do hey, we're in a kitchen now. No, we're not. We're in like a bank. And then just kind of, throw.
We are, and now we're in Qatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that's what in improv, you're not supposed to ask questions because it's putting a lot of pressure on your partner, kind of thing. But then the greatest improvers that I've seen, they're asking questions in the scene, and there's just like a lot of trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then like when stand up, they're like, don't ask questions. They're like, nope, just tell your jokes. Just do your jokes. You don't need to just do this to set up the room or anything like that. Whereas I like when you have crowd work, it's about asking specific questions, not just yes or no questions.
Yeah, I can see that, because like you said, you get like when you do your crowd work, you get that information, and you can use that, like some of the examples that you use. So I don't see why you shouldn't be able to, get the audience involved.
Yeah, it's like I do a bit about celebrity birthdays, because I talk about, I feel like I have the best celebrity birthday twin.
Who is it?
Fran Drescher.
Okay.
She's my favorite in the world.
Okay.
But then I always like asking other people who their celebrity birthday twins are, because this one time I did a show like in the Milwaukee area, and I was asking people their celebrity birthday twins, and this guy that was like 400 pounds in the back of the room shouts out of the top of his lungs, "Jeffrey Dahmer!"
Wow.
And it shuts down the room. And then so my question I always ask after is, what do you think you have in common with Jeffrey Dahmer? And he paused, and then he shouted out, "Poor eating habits." And now I tell that joke every time, because that's the best. Anything I say after that is not nearly as funny.
Yeah, and he was in Milwaukee?
Yes.
So he has that in common,
and
too.
I was like, this is insane that this is all happening.
Man.
Everyone in that room knows who Jeffrey Dahmer is.
Yeah,
and they might know him really well.
Yeah. Oh, man. So I Don't Want to Know was written when they were Buckingham and Nix. And that was the song that replaced Silver Springs on Rumours.
It's a great song. Don't get me wrong.
Uh-huh.
I would have taken Silver Springs.
Yeah. It does seem like, kind of in hindsight, that would have been the song to put on there. You know what I mean? Like that, it just flows. This song is a good song, but not quite.
It's no Silver Springs.
Yeah. And apparently, have you seen the sketch? There's a Saturday Night Live sketch called Diner Dispatch, where I guess there is, I think it might be a divorcing couple and an arguing couple, and then they stop arguing as soon the song will just come on randomly.
Oh, I love that.
Arguing. I don't know. When I was doing research, I saw that. I haven't seen it, but yeah. So.
And that's a song that they play for it?
Yeah.
That's
perfect.
That's
that
perfect.
song, and they stop arguing. Like I guess this couple's arguing the whole time, and then the song just randomly comes on at certain times and they stop arguing.
Yeah, because I Don't Want to Know is I don't know, that's kind of like my philosophy in relationships. If you cheat on me, I don't want to know. Just make sure I don't find out. No idea if that's what the song is about, but.
And it's crazy too that it was like an old song. Like they went to the well, like from when it was Buckingham Nix. You know what I mean? This is their 11th album. I don't know. Were Buckingham and Nix always in Fleetwood Mac though?
No, they were doing their own thing, and then I believe Mac brought them in. But I do think it is hilarious that it's probably Lindsay that was like, Silver Springs? Well, why don't we just bring this one that we did 5 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody have any songs that he's like, I got this one?
Let's do this one. What are we going to place it with? I don't know. Silver Springs? But don't worry, we can put it on the B-side of my breakup song.
About you. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to. Then we have Oh Daddy. Christine McVie wrote that about Mick Fleetwood and his separation. And I guess he was the only father in the band. So I guess that's how it got to be.
See, I didn't know that.
About that, yeah.
And now that is a popular sexualized phrase.
Yeah. Yeah, so it could be a different meaning now. So maybe a TikToker will use this.
Here's a TikTok.
While drinking cranberry juice or whatever, right? This will be the next.
There will be no UTIs.
Fleetwood Mac
in the 21st century.
The next Fleetwood Mac TikTok craze. All right. Well, is there anything else that I missed on Rumours?
I think the only thing we dodged with Rumours is how much cocaine was fueled in that album.
Allegedly, yes. Let's just say allegedly.
I did see a fun...
It does say, I mean, it does. Here's the thing. I'm going to say allegedly, but it does say it everywhere you look. I mean, when I saw that, it said fueled by breakups and drugs. So it does say that, but I'm saying allegedly. Yeah.
Well, I did see something. I think it was on Wikipedia, so it is alleged, but it was called the talcum powder prank. Have you heard of it?
No.
All right, so I will say I copy and pasted it, but it said, throughout grueling sessions, a black velvet bag of cocaine sat under the mixing desk. One day, engineer Ken Callier secretly replaced it with a bag of talcum powder. When a band member requested to take a hit, he tipped the bag upside down and dumped all the powder over on the floor, and apparently they got pretty furious.
Oh, man.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Yes, this is all alleged, yes.
It was baby aspirin.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think. I mean, who knows what it's like nowadays, but like just thinking about those times, it definitely was crazy, you know?
Yeah, and now it's Adderall.
Yeah, like all the over-the-counter stuff, right?
Yeah, that's why music's taking a dip. There's not enough cocaine.
Yeah.
Just ask Eric Clapton. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes, absolutely. All right, well, Stratton, thank you so much for being the first guest on Drop an Album. We started out of the gate hot with Rumours, one of the greatest albums of all time. Where, again, can we find you? I recommend that everybody within the sound of my voice follow his socials, go and see him live. If he's not coming to your town, request, right? They can make requests, right?
Yes,
all the
I will say,
call.
message me and say, hey, you would do really great at this bar. And then I'd say like, all right, sweet, go tell the people in the bar to reach out to me. And then they reach out to me, and then I'm in your town.
Yes, so I recommend it wherever you are within the sound of our voice. Follow him on social media. Request him to come. If he's not already coming, look for the dates on his social medias. If he is coming, go. If not, request him. You got to see him live, right?
Got to see me live. I don't know. I shine when I'm live, but bring your mom. We'll talk about Fleetwood Mac.
Yes. And do young people listen to me talking do young people also like Fleetwood Mac? I guess if they're TikTokers in 2020.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
There's got to be some hope. I don't know. I feel like if you listen to this episode and got through it, you probably like Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, and if you see Stratton, bring him a cran raspberry juice, too.
Please, I am parched.
Is there anything else you'd like to besides cran raspberry juice that it can be like a secret thing that they heard this podcast that they could bring to you?
Oh my gosh, if you bring
cash,
if you bring me cold hard cash, that would be great.
But anything else?
Sunny D.
Okay, let's not do the cran raspberry. That was done on TikTok. Bring some Sunny D. Is that your favorite drink?
I like Sunny D. That's what's coming up in my head. Yeah.
All right, so Sunny D, bring him a Sunny D. Request him in your town. Go see him. Hilarious guy, shines live, shines wherever you want to see him. Are some of your clips also on your social medias that you can see?
If you look on my Instagram at Weird Strat, I've got a little bit of my clips on there, but then I also like to save a lot of stuff for the live show.
Will you give all your socials one more time, please?
Yes, I'm about to say you can find me on Facebook at Stratton Smith or on Instagram at Weird Strat, and then I got a TikTok that I use a little bit, which is Weird Strat with 2 T's at the end.
All right, so Stratton, thank you so much again. Go and see him, follow him, do everything you can. We'll see you next time on Drop an Album. Thank you so much for listening.